I'm going to exercise my role, if you will, as G7 chair, since we have a few more minutes with the president and his team, and then we actually have to start the meeting to address some of these big issues. So I don't mess him.
He just said, "Excuse me, but I'm the manager. I'm the leader. I'm the captain." Carney just said, "I'm the captain, and you have to listen to me." The only person that people are really paying attention to, if I'm being totally honest, is not MarkCarney. It's Donald Trump. Donald Trump's arrival in Canada is monumental for a couple of different reasons. First of all, President of the United States, the most powerful person in the entire world. Secondly, President of the United States has implemented all of these trade war tariffs on a whole bunch of different countries. And everybody who's at the G7, if I'm not mistaken, has tariffs on them. And it's already been brought up in a press conference that already took place this morning. So it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild because the man who's literally causing us economic harm is here to potentially cause us more economic harm or to solve all of these issues, which seems to be where the conversation is leading a little bit more towards. So we're going to be taking a look at a whole lot of things before question period begins. But of course, before we get into it, I do want to encourage y'all to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't yet already. It does really help grow the channel. We're actually going to take a look at the sequence of events leading into the G7 summit, specifically Donald Trump arriving. So here we go. Let's get right into it. Trump about to arrive at the G7 summit. Wow. Just so many planes. And then you can see his plane is landing. Air Force One and President Trump have touched down in Calgary. I know it's crazy because we're literally just watching the president of the United States arrive in Canada, but it's that big of a deal that it's worth watching. That's a beautiful plane. There you go. And then you have Trump getting off of Air Force One, being met with Dominic LeBlanc, you can see here. And then also Premier of Alberta, Danielle Smith. Look at Dominic LeBlanc. Like, pay attention to LeBlanc right here on the right side. He gets so giddy, his face just lights up. This is the same dude right there. Elbows up on. This is what they elbows up campaigned on. It's just so freaking funny. And then MarkCarney, of course, arrives in his home province of Alberta, getting off of Canadian Goose One, or whatever we call our our plane. There he is, meeting with Danielle Smith, the premier, and this person, I don't know what this is. This has seemed to cause quite a bit of controversy. The representative of the First Nations of Alberta. I don't know the person's name. I don't know the person's title, but I've already seen on X this morning, a lot of people are saying that Canada isn't a serious country because this right here where my mouse is, there's unfortunately no audio on this video that our prime minister posted. That's kind of weird. But in terms of the protests that are taking place, look at this. The Khalistanis having massive convoy on its way to ambush Indian Prime Minister Modi at the G7. Does Canada even have enough security to prevent this from going off the rails? Will their bank accounts be frozen? And this is crazy. So just a bit of a shotgun course on what that is, that convoy with those yellow flags. The Khalistani movement is a movement. This is my surface level ish understanding of it. Khalistani movement has been deemed a separatist terrorist movement by the government of India themselves. They don't actually exist in India. They exist in other places like the UK and Canada to protest the Indian government. It's like if you hated Canada enough and you wanted death to Canada or Canadian politicians. So instead of protesting here in Canada, you went to like India and were calling for the death of Canadian politicians, which is pretty messed up. And you would think that there'd be some diplomacy since our two countries are supposed to be getting along, but no. And then there was like the killing of the, Najar Singh at the Gurdwara in Surrey. And there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. Was India involved? Was India not involved? Who knows? Canada says that they are looking into it with still a 1.5 year long investigation by the RCMP, but we know nothing's going to really come of it. So this terrorist separatist movement is now doing a freedom convoy-ish, convoy. I don't call it freedom convoy. They're doing a convoy to the G7 to go and like express their detest for the Indian Prime Minister in Canada, which is weird. It's weird that this is even a thing in Canada. Yeah, we can't listen to music, so there's a beat in there that's probably copyright, but you can see there's a lot of people. There's a lot of Khalistani individuals that are obviously very, very upset with Indian Prime Minister Modi. And that's not the only clip we have. There's also right here from Bazinga News or whatever it's called. Yeah, nobody wants to listen to that. Look at that. 48 hours, ambush, Modi's politics, landing to take off. June 16th to June 17th. So they, whoa, was that him in a jail cell or something? What the heck was that? They are literally trying to interrupt the entire G7 because of Modi, who isn't even a G7 country, but has been invited as part of this ongoing ritual since 2019. So you can see Modi right here is in a prison cell on this float, on this convoy. Yeah, I mean, that's wild to me. It's wild. Like, I get freedom of expression, but man, if you're in Canada, your primary concern should be Canadian stuff, not Indian politics. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just bizarre. But we're gonna have to see how this does play out. But I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments about that. That's, to me, that's weird. Very weird. Oh, there you go. They're trying to figure out their audio. President Trump's not impressed. We'll make sure you always have audio when you're in the 51st state.
We good to go? All right, thank you. Mr. President, welcome to Canada.
Thank you very much.
It's a great honor. Happy birthday. A few days short.
A little bit.
A few days short, but didn't have a chance to see you on the day. Happy birthday to the U.S. military as well, 250th. And this is the 50th birthday, if you will, of the G7. This marks the 50th birthday of the G7. And the G7 is nothing without U.S. leadership. And your personal leadership of the United States, many issues, geopolitics, economic, technology, and working hand in hand with the United States, Canada and the United States, and the other G7 partners with your leadership. Very much looking forward to the meeting and grateful to have you.
Thank you very much, Mark. I appreciate it, and we've developed a very good relationship, and we're going to be talking about trade and many other things. And we have a whole group of people, some traders and some other people. I see my top economy people. But we have a very talented group of people, and you do too, and I know they've worked together very well. I look forward to that. The G7 used to be the G8. Barack Obama and a person named Trudeau didn't want to have Russia in. And I would say that was a mistake, because I think you wouldn't have a war right now if you had Russia in. And you wouldn't have a war right now if Trump were president 4 years ago. But it didn't work out that way. But it used to be the G8, and now it's, I guess, what's that, 8 years ago, it switched over. They threw Russia out, which I claimed was a very big mistake, even though I wasn't in politics then. I was very loud about it. It was a mistake in that you spend so much time talking about Russia, and he's no longer at the table, so it makes life more complicated. But you wouldn't have had the war. Other than that, I think we're going to accomplish a lot, and I expect to. And I think our primary focus will be trade and trade with Canada.
Okay. So quick fact check. I did this on my phone, but I'm going to see if I can not to like rain on President Trump's parade, but I literally just typed in, maybe you'll have to screenshot this. And I should have done it on the computer, to be honest, but I said, which Canadian prime minister got rid of Russia in the G8? And I'm going to read it to you. It was Prime Minister Stephen Harper who played a key role in getting Russia kicked out of the G8. In 2014, after Russia annexed Crimea from Ukraine, Harper was the first G7 leader to call for suspending Russia from the G8. He pushed hard for the rest of the group to take action, saying that Russia's actions were a clear violation of international law. It's all right there, and there's more to read. Screenshot it, read it at your own if you'd like to, but yeah, there's a little fact check. Hey, I'm all for Trudeau taking the blame. Why not, right? Throw him under the bus, metaphorically speaking. Take the blame, but also it wasn't Trudeau. It was Harper, and that's why Carney turned at the cameras and was like, "I want to say something, but I'm not going to." So you can see that Carney is politicking the way politicians do. They don't interrupt each other and fact check. They just let the other politicians say whatever needs to be said, and then they move on. I don't agree with this. This is what Trudeau did, and this is now what Carney's doing, but it is what it is.
And I'm sure we can work something out.
Yeah, very good.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so much. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, holding up a deal with Canada.
How close are you to a deal?
What is holding up a deal with Canada from your perspective?
It's not so much holding up. I think we have different concepts. I have a tariff concept. Mark has a different concept, which is something that some people like. But we're going to see if we can get to the bottom of it today. I'm a tariff person. I've always been a tariff. It's simple, it's easy, it's precise, and it just goes very quickly. And I think Mark has a more complex idea, but also very good. So we're going to look at both, and we're going to see what we're going to come out with something. Hopefully.
That's good that they're going to be talking about the tariffs and the trade war, and they're going to try to figure out some deal while Trump is here in Alberta. This is good. And just to reiterate on the point of, Harper kicking out Russia or advocating for Russia being kicked out of the G8, turning it into the G7 instead of it being Justin Trudeau. Yeah, okay. I did a quick fact check. That doesn't mean that I disagree. And I should have added this right when it happened, for crying out loud. But I don't disagree with everything else that Trump said. That if Russia didn't get kicked out of the G8, there likely wouldn't be a war right now. I agree with that. If Trump was president 4 years ago, there wouldn't be a war between Russia and Ukraine. I also agree with that. I feel like Trump's negotiating skills are unmatched to other politicians around the world. Yeah, okay. He says crazy things. We're gonna take Greenland. We're gonna take Canada. We're not gonna need military force. Blah blah blah. Whatever. But at the end of the day, after everyone laughs, 9 times out of 10, Trump gets the final laugh because he gets what he always wanted. Okay, that's not me blowing smoke up his butt. That's just me being factual about it. He's a very good businessman. Okay, he's figured out tax loopholes. Good for him, I suppose. And I agree that other countries are less likely to start a war or be in a war with Trump in. So I just want to add that. I think it's very important.
Do you think a deal is achievable within days, within weeks? Is there that kind of runway?
Yeah, it's achievable. Both parties have to agree. Yeah, sure.
Mr. President, have you heard any signals or seen any messages from intermediaries that Iran wishes to de-escalate the conflict?
Yeah.
What have you heard? What have you heard from the Iranians?
They'd like to talk, but they should have done that before. I had 60 days, and they had 60 days, and on the 61st day, I said, we don't have a deal. They have to make a deal, and It's painful for both parties, but I'd say Iran is not winning this war. And they should talk, and they should talk immediately before it's too late.
And what would you say?
Look how irrelevant the Canadian Prime Minister is in not only his own country, but his home province of Alberta. This is insane. The media did the exact same thing when Justin Trudeau was governor of Canada. Trudeau would be standing right next to the president, President Trump, and the media would not even acknowledge Prince Trudeau, governor of Canada. They would direct all their questions beyond the prime minister, the governor of Canada, and go right to the president. This is wild. Look at Carney. Go back if you need to. We're not going to go back, but he's got his arms like this in front of him. Okay, he's like a kid bored, wearing a hat with a little helicopter thing on it. You know, like, it's okay, buddy. It's okay. The parents are talking, right? Here's a book. Go read it. And there's pencils and crayons to color. Like, Carney looks like that. Like he's wearing a little hat with the helicopter thing on it. That's what I see. When I see this, that's what I see. I see a real leader and a helicopter hat.
In your opinion, what would it take for the U.S. to get involved in this conflict militarily?
I don't want to talk about that.
As you mentioned Putin, do you think that he should have a seat at the G7 today, that it should be the G8?
Carney's watching tennis back and
I
forth.
don't think he should at
Back
this
and
point
forth.
because too much water's gone over the dam, maybe. But it was a big mistake. Obama didn't want him, and the head of your country, the proud head of your country, didn't want him. This was a big mistake. You wouldn't have that war. You know, you have your enemy at the table. Even I don't even consider him. He wasn't really an enemy at that time. There was no concept. If I were president, this war would have never happened. But likewise, if he were a member of what was called the G8 at that time, it was always the G8. You wouldn't have a war right now.
Why not have China?
Where's my editor? We need someone to take a still photo of this with Carney with his hands in front and put a little helicopter hat on him. Now, this is hilarious. They're not even acknowledging that the prime minister of the country that they are in is standing there. This is embarrassing.
What intelligence support are you providing Israel?
We've always supported Israel. We have for a long period of time, strongly. And Israel's doing very well right now.
Why not have China at the G8? Why not have China here, the biggest economy in the world after the United States?
Well, it's not a bad idea. I don't mind that. If somebody wants to suggest China coming in, I think we suggest. But you want to have people that you can...
China coming in on the G7? What? Oh, my goodness. Why not at this point? Why not, right? Who cares?
talk to. You know, they don't talk to. Putin speaks to me. He doesn't speak to anybody else. He doesn't want to talk because he was very insulted when he got thrown out of the G8, as I would be, as you would be, as anybody would be. He was very insulted, and I mean, he was thrown out by Trudeau, who convinced one or two people, along with Obama. He was thrown out. And he's not a happy person about it, I can tell you that. He basically doesn't even speak to the people that threw him out, and I agree with him. Go ahead.
On immigration, why are you ordering ICE to target Democratic inner cities? What's behind that?
I don't know what you're saying.
You did a post last night where you said you want ICE to really target Democratic...
Yeah, I want them to focus on the cities, because the cities are where you really have what's called sanctuary cities, and that's where the people are. I look at New York, I look at Chicago. I mean, you got a really bad governor in Chicago and a bad mayor, but the governor's probably the worst in the country, Pritzker. But I look at how that city has been overrun by criminals, and you know, New York and L.A. Look at L.A. L.A. Those people weren't from L.A. They weren't from California. Most of those people, many of those people, and yeah,
stand still, Carney. What are you doing?
Biden allowed 21 million people to come into our country. Of that, vast numbers of those people were murderers, killers, people from gangs, people from jails. They emptied their jails out into the U.S. Most of those people are in the cities, all blue cities, all Democrat-run cities, and they think they're going to use them to vote. It's not going to happen.
He waited instantly. Did you see that? Look, the president finishes his sentence and the prime minister of Canada puts his hand up immediately. I think that's it. I think that's it. Let's end it right now because I'm not getting anything. Oh my good. Oh mon Dieu, as they say in Quebec. Look at this. We got to rewatch this.
And they think they're going to use them to vote. It's not going to happen.
Excuse me. He can't even take control of the room, and he's the prime minister of Canada. And this is in Canada.
You said it would take a few weeks to decide if
If you don't mind.
He has to ask Trump for permission. Did you see that? He has to ask Trump for permission. Oh, mon Dieu. Hey, excuse me. Hold on a second. Hey, President, can I stop this? I can? Okay. He tapped him on the elbow. This is elbows up right here. This is what elbows up means.
you said it would take a few weeks to decide if
You got it. Elbow. Boom. There's the elbows up. The prime minister. Look at Trump. It's like a kid. He's Carney's like the kid with the helicopter hat. It's okay, buddy. Yeah. It's okay. Come on. Yeah, you could do it. Just tap him on the elbow. Oh my goodness. I've never seen anything more embarrassing for Canada than this. You thought that Trudeau got steamrolled? This is worse than being called Governor of Canada, Governor Trudeau, blah, blah, blah. This is worse. This is at least with governor, you could be like, well, Trudeau tried to clap back. Okay. Say, well, why don't we make you the another province of Canada or something like Trudeau tried a little bit, right? He tried a little bit to clap back at Trump and it just never really went anywhere. You can't clap back from this. The prime minister of Canada just asked for permission from the president to end a press conference here in Canada. Oh mon Dieu. There's no way out of this where it looks good for Carney. Carney was just taken. He was just pantsed in front of everybody. This entire press conference. I've never seen anything like this. Let me know down in the comments. I'm so shocked. I'm so shocked that I don't know any other words other than I've never seen anything like this in my entire life. I've never seen anything more embarrassing. I need a thesaurus to expand my vocabulary. That's how funny this is to me. Let's see what the rest of this is.
I'm going to exercise my role, if you will, as G7 chair, since we have a few more minutes with the president and his team, and then we actually have to start the meeting to address some of these big issues. So I don't mess you.
He just said, excuse me, but I'm the manager. I'm the leader. I'm the captain. Carney just said, I'm the captain and you have to listen to me. Oh my goodness, with his hands waving around for Pride Month.
If you will, as G7 chair, since we have a few more minutes with the president and his team, and then we actually have to start the meeting to address some of these big issues.
I'm the leader of the G7. You have to listen to me. Oh my goodness. I've never in my life, Trudeau got stomped on. Trudeau got trampled on by Donald Trump and by leaders of other countries, but usually specifically Donald Trump. I've never seen something like this happen ever. This is incredible. I'm so happy that we got to see this right now because we keep thinking there's this like honeymoon phase of Carney, is he actually going to stand up to Donald Trump? Is he going to do the whole elbows up thing? And he's not. Trump patted him on the elbows. It's okay, buddy. You can end the press conference. We'll go have lunch. It's okay. You're You're the captain. You know that scene in Avengers where where freaking Thor is talking to Starglider, whatever his name is, right? And they're like arguing about who's gonna pilot the ship. It's okay. Yeah. You're in charge, right? You're in charge, buddy. You're the captain. Oh my goodness, man. I think it's over for Carney. I think liberals are gonna see this and go, because Trump didn't do anything wrong. There was nothing wrong that President Trump did right there. He was very nice. He was very kind and respectful. That's okay, buddy. It's okay. Yeah. You're the chair of the G7. Sure thing. End the meeting. Sure thing. Huh? You got it. You're in charge. There was nothing that Donald Trump did that could possibly piss off liberals. the press was asking the president questions and he was responding. And the moment that the chair of the G7 took control of the situation, Donald Trump stopped speaking. Yeah, you're in charge. You got it, buddy. You got it. Nothing disrespectful that Trump did. Liberals are going to have a meltdown. I love it. I love it. Oh my goodness. Day one and already off to a pretty funny start. Anyways, I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments about that. That made my day. My day's just getting started.